All right. Hi, everyone. I know typically we do this with JT and myself right now. As you can tell, it is just me. We're missing a JT this morning. So this is going to be solo, just Francie on the webinar this morning, as JT had something urgently come up that he had to deal with. So today it is just me. So bear with me as I am trying to, I'll be trying to respond and look at the comments and also kind of talk about today's topic, which it's Tuesday. So today's topic is business growth. And what I want to talk about specifically is growing our business now post COVID-19. So not post COVID-19 and it's done and over with and we're never going to see it again. Obviously, coronavirus, COVID-19, it is something that is here. It is something that's going to impact us. It's something that's gonna kind of change how we do business and how we operate. So that is what I want to talk about today, is growing our business now as the world is starting to get back to something. I'm not going to say normal, new normal, any of that. The world is just going back. It's going back to something. It's adjusting. We're kind of entering into this new phase as businesses are starting to reopen. We have where I am, almost everything's reopened now. It's just capacity things, which some businesses I think are adhering to, some are not. We've got businesses reopening, we have protests still going on, and we have numbers of COVID-19 cases increasing in a lot of places. So the world is kind of at a point where I think everyone has just, I think there's a group of people that are just like, I'm over it. I am over it, right? Like I'm over being at home. I'm over quarantine. I'm open things not being open. I'm some people, I'm over not working. I'm over, not going into my job. I'm over the places being closed. I think you have some people that are freaking out and are like, I'm ready for things to be open, but I'm not totally over it. And then I think you have other people that are just like, those people are crazy. I am staying home. So for you as a business owner, entrepreneur, maybe you're getting into a new business altogether, it's how are we going to grow what we have? And I think there's a few things that we need to look at. And we've talked a lot about this all throughout quarantine, everyone being stuck at home, some people's businesses completely being turned upside down. We've talked a lot about how do we adjust and adapt. And I think part of that is you've got to, now where we are, we really have to say, okay, it's not just snapping back to what it was, but we've got to look at, what can we do right now? And I think one of the biggest things right now is you have to have an online strategy. You have to have an online sales strategy. You have to have if you sell a product of any kind, you need to have a way to sell it online. This is becoming a really, really big thing, is you need to look at more and more people want to order something versus going to the store to get it. People are looking at delivery, at curbside pickup. It's think about it. For some places 2 months, some places 3 months, some people even longer than that, you couldn't go anywhere. Everything was closed. So we got very, very used to ordering and things being delivered to us. Whatever it was, whether it's, you needed a new yoga mat and they delivered it to you, grocery delivery, whatever it is, it's online delivery. More and more people are getting into that habit and routine of I can order it online. I know myself recently, there was a couple of things I needed, and instead of going to the store to buy them, which normally, don't get me wrong, I'm a big online shopper, but normally my buying habits would be, I'll just go to the store and pick it up. Well, now I'll just go to Amazon and order it and it's going to come to my door. And I think that's a big shift that we need to really be looking at, is just commerce as a whole. Is you need to really break down and look at what is your audience doing? Where are they buying and how are they buying? Okay. So maybe, maybe at one point you were, you have a service. So maybe you're in the service industry. So maybe it's not a, okay, the product is being shipped to my door. Maybe you're in the service industry and the way customers used to purchase or buy your service from you, maybe that needs to change. And there needs to be more of an easier process where people can actually sign up and pay you money and participate from online. You know, what is your website look like? How easy is it for someone to do business with you? How easy is it for someone to engage with you? How easy is it for someone to ask you questions? How easy is it for someone to purchase if they want to? Are you sending the information? Are you giving them the things that they want? I think we need to really look at things where we were so secluded that people just got used to this whole, I can just do it really simply online. A couple of restaurants here, right? Like obviously restaurants are doing takeaway and stuff like that. A few restaurants here were doing, they do happy hours, right? Great happy hour specials. Well, they started doing happy hour on to go. Well, now they're open and they're still offering happy hour on to go. And what they've noticed is, because I've been going in and I will take advantage of the happy hour prices, but I'm getting it to go, is now that they're open, they are full at happy hour and they're also getting the takeaway orders too. So they've been able to find a way to actually take their happy hour business and double it from what it was, because they're allowing people to give it, allowing people to do takeaway on that. So I think it's little things, and we have to look at how you're adjusting how you're doing business. I think now is also the time to kind of re-strategize and refocus a little bit as far as whatever you've been doing in your business over the past 3 months, right? You kind of were probably went into a one survival mode, like we have to do whatever we can to survive. Now we need to shift gears again and kind of reevaluate and say, what is it strategically? What do I need to do? Where do my customers want to see me? Where do I need to show up? Where do I need to be? A big thing for us we've been talking about is, do we need to keep doing these every day? Do we need to keep going? You know, it was a webinar, then we change, you know, it was a morning webinar for an hour, then we change it to the afternoon, then we change it to 30 minutes in the morning and 30 minutes in the afternoon. And at what point do we just say, okay, we just need to shift away from this altogether? And not out of not wanting to provide content, but out of it being, people are starting to get back to work. They're starting to change their habits a little bit. So carving out the time to be on these sessions doesn't make sense anymore. Maybe it does make sense anymore, but that's where we need to get into reevaluating to say, what is the best use of our time? Where do I need to be showing up for my customers? Where do I need to be showing up for my clients? And kind of adjusting there. I think another thing that we need to be paying attention to in order to grow our businesses is, we have to be looking at outreach to new people, right? So I'm not just talking about marketing. I'm talking about, how are we generating new business? How are we generating new leads? How are we making new connections? Do you have a strategy where you're going out there and you spend an hour a day online looking for new potential customers, looking for new people to partner with, maybe looking for opportunities of businesses that aren't doing that well? There are tons of there's tons of websites where you can go and look at businesses that are for sale. Okay. You can go in and, you know, these are on sale on the market, like through a business broker where people are selling their business. You can actually go in though and look by industry of what businesses are for sale. So you can look up, you know, if you're a marketing company, you can say what marketing companies are, for sale, or what dry cleaners, or what nail salons, or what hair salons, or what window company, right? You can look by industry to see what companies are for sale. Now, obviously, we know those companies are for sale for one reason or another. And I'm not saying you need to go in and buy them. And if you do want to buy them or do want to get into buying and acquiring businesses, we are doing an event this Saturday, buying and selling buying and selling businesses. You can register for that at buyingandsellingbusiness.com. It is just business, buyingandsellingbusiness.com. You can go on and register. We're going to get really into that side. But what I'm saying is you could use that as a technique of, this owner is trying to sell anyway. Maybe you're not in the buying strategy, but that may be a great way to partner. Maybe they can't reopen their business. Maybe they're struggling. Maybe they have customers or clients that now you could basically say, if you can't fulfill these clients, or you're trying to sell, or you're struggling, or you can't get your employees back, maybe there's a way we could work together where I can fulfill your clients what they need, and give you a percentage for referring them over. Or maybe you can hire us to do XYZ services to fulfill for, your customers still think it's you, but we're actually fulfilling on the back end, and work out different price strategies there. Because there are a lot of businesses that are for sale right now. So that might be just one way to look at how you could actually work with someone, or potentially drive new partnerships or strategic relationships in your business. So I think you need to look at what are those type of partnerships, relationships that we can start to grow, to look at like how we're positioning in a post COVID, post coronavirus, who are those relationships that we're making that can help us drive more customers, drive more clients. The other thing now is a strategic time to do is if you have a team, okay, you may have laid off some people on your team. You may have furloughed some people on your team. You may have not done anything with anyone on your team, and everything may have just been continuing as business as usual. I think now it's time to reevaluate who's doing what. Am I getting the things done I want to? Do I have the right people? We say this all the time, but I think right now is a really great time to take inventory of, do I have the right people in the right places doing the right things? What I mean by that is you may have had to downsize, and you may need to reevaluate of who are the positions I need to bring back? Who do I not need to bring back? What are the gaps that I'm missing that I need to fill? Do I have or maybe everything's running perfectly the way that it is, or where are the responsibilities and how do I shift them to get the things done that I need? So you have to look at, I think for part of helping your growth is reevaluating who are the people missing from your team. Why I say that is there are people that are still not back to work yet. There are businesses that have not opened back up yet. There are companies that have laid off a large number of people. There is going to be a talent pool out there. And we've talked a little bit about this, that now may be the time to acquire some of that talent, or find what is that key role or key position or key person that might be missing to, kind of create the perfect team or create the right dynamic on the team that you need. So I think of evaluating the people, right? Do I have the right people in the right places doing the right things? If you don't have people and it's all you, now might be the time to evaluate who is the right person for me to bring in to help me grow something, or help me expand something, or, increase a certain part of the business. So I think now might be that time to also evaluate the people. And it may even be, I still have too many people. Maybe you've gotten rid of some people and you're like, I think I could get rid of one or two more people, or I don't think this person's being 100% productive with their time. I do think from a people perspective, there is going to be this shift probably through the rest of the year, just looking at how businesses are operating as far as working remotely, offices reopening, but staggering the people that are coming in and only operating at a certain capacity. And I think there, definitely is this dynamic of people are going to have this whole, I don't know that I feel safe going back into an office and work. And there really hasn't been a lot put out there as far as like, how far can you push your expectation, right? Like, can you really demand that everyone comes back into the office, or can you not? And I think that's kind of a thing where more and more people in working remote right now, and people being, happy to be working right now, so are more willing to work remote and you're going to get more productivity. Maybe you don't need someone in your local area. Maybe you can expand your search a little bit to really acquire talent from somewhere else that maybe you normally wouldn't have hired that person because they didn't live in your city, but don't need to force a relocation because people are working remote right now. So I think evaluating your talent, right? So your online strategy, reevaluating talent, looking at what are the new relationships, what are the joint ventures, who are the new people and places you can make outreach to really be able to drive your business to the next level, right? How can we kind of drive things, move it forward, push it forward? Also, thinking about what are the things that people need now? Like, what is it that I bring to the table? And is there something and a lot of you have been doing this already and have already been working on this during quarantine, during, everyone be stuck at home. How do I shift? How do I do something different? But also saying there's going to be different interests in the marketplace moving forward. For example, I know, right, moving forward, and we know that we haven't focused a lot on real estate for a long time. Now, JT initially made his first millions doing real estate. That's where he really started, was in real estate. And he's had a lot of success in real estate. He's always been involved in doing real estate deals. So it's not we've stayed away from real estate out of not wanting to, or not being experienced, or not being knowledged, or not knowing enough about it. It's just, real estate goes through, there's always ways to find deals, right? In real estate, there's always a way to make money as long as you have a great understanding of the market, what is going on in the market, and how the market is shifting, right? There's always a way to make money in real estate. Well, anytime we go through any type of a dip in the economy, now I think some people would probably say, we're not done. Some people would say this was like a really small dip and then everything's going back up. Some people are like, it's false bubble. Like, who knows? Nobody really knows, right? Nobody, if you look at the stock market, you're like, wow, we're doing better than we ever have. People are still buying home, right? It's kind of all over the map a little bit. But anytime people go through a period of either losing a job, being laid off, furloughed, not working, or the economy as a whole, unemployment goes up, people are going to look for what are alternative ways to make money. What are other ways to make money? And real estate always becomes a popular thing for people to look at. So we know, we are going to be making a shift and probably focusing on, and we've already started doing it, more in the real estate market, right? We're always going to talk about, we've always talked about being a business owner, being an entrepreneur, and we talk and share and teach a lot on different ways that people can do that. And we kind of follow what's going on in the market to say, how are we going to adapt and shift based on what's going in the market, where we're going to focus. So knowing, I know real estate is going to be a big one, as real estate is a place that people always look, right? People always look at real estate, always see that people make money there, don't always know how challenging it is, how much work you have to put in. But real estate's one of those areas that when we go through something where unemployment increases, people are always more interested in real estate. So knowing that, we're going to focus a little bit more on that's kind of what people are looking for. So we're going to provide that. A second thing, we've never done anything in the stock trading arena before. JT is not very big on trading. He knows, I would say he knows enough about it to be dangerous, but not enough about it to probably educate and teach on it. Any investing, right? There is no safe form of investing anywhere out there. There is no 100% risk-free method of investing. That just doesn't exist. There are safer, there are more secure, there are more risky, right? That's like, you talk about, anyone that talks about investment is always going to talk about what is your risk tolerance. And if you don't understand your risk tolerance, it makes it really tricky, because you don't really know what you're willing to lose and the level of risk you're willing to make. Also knowing that a lot of times, your position in life and your agent, right? The status you're in life at the age you are at that point is also going to drive your risk tolerance as well. Being married, having kids, those kids needing to go to college, right? There's a different level of risk there than if you're single and you're younger, or if you're 85 or if you're 25, right? There's just different levels of risk. There is no 100% safe, secure, risk-free way to invest. And I think a lot of people forget about that, right? Yes, real estate, you have an asset. It doesn't mean that you will not lose money, right? Now, if you are educated and you know what you're doing, it becomes safer because you're highly educated and you know what you're doing. I would say the same thing, just like I said about real estate. When we go through any period in time where unemployment increases, people lose their jobs, the stock market becomes something that becomes more appealing. And with everything we went through, people are looking at, a lot of people made money shorting the market. People are making money buying back in. People also lost a lot of money in the stock market. And so there becomes more of an interest in wanting to learn about the stock market. The different ways to trade, the different types of trading, how you can make money, how, across the board. I know about real estate. I've always wanted to learn trading. That's why we finally brought trading into the fold. JT doesn't know anything about it. So he's not sitting there teaching people how to trade because he does not know. So he's not sitting there teaching people because that's not an area of expertise. Luckily, we do have people on our team that know about it, which is why we've kind of shifted and started doing stuff in that arena as well. So I think it's one of those things where you have to look at, what is the market going to want and what are the things that I can deliver in knowing what the market's going to want and what you bring to the table, right? So we also are getting more involved in investing because there is going to be a lot of opportunity. So we're driving more to investing, and we'd already started the private equity, but we're basically looking at what are the things the market's going to want, right? What are our customers? What do they want to know? What do they want education on? What do they want information on? What are the skills people want to learn? And how can we shift to fulfill that need and fulfill that gap? Right? I'm sure there's a lot of other things that people want to know and people are interested in right now. We're focusing on the areas that we can provide something. So that's where I think it's important right now to really be saying, how do I re-strategize? How do I kind of take stock of what do my clients want and what are the things that they want that I can deliver? Now, if you don't know the answer to that, guess what? It's really easy. Ask them. Ask your customers. Now, no, we always say that whoever said the person that said the customer is always right was the customer. But I'll give you an example. We're doing some classes for people, and we basically pooled them and said, what topic are you most interested in? Now we're leading with the topic that they said they were most interested in. We provided 10 topics. We're going to end up doing all 10 of those things. We started with, what are you most interested in? To gauge, we're probably doing all 10 of these anyway, but let's at least start with what everyone is telling us they want. So if you don't know, you go out there and you say, what is it you are most interested in right now? Not what do you think I do that you think I can help you with? What are the things you need that I can give you, to help in my structure? I'm just going to point out in the comments right now, literally someone just commented about needing structures for sales funnels to plug your campaigns in a sales funnel. And then the person that commented last right before you, that's exactly what they do. So you two should probably connect because it sounds like what one of you needs, the other one does. But it's not just saying, what do I do? It's like, what do you need as a whole? And then evaluating, is that a skill that I can work in? Is that something that I can do for my clients? Or is that just, I don't know enough about that? Or is that a strategic partnership relationship, something that I can go out there and make to be able to offer something to my clients? So being able to go out there and make those connections. So I know I'm almost done for today, and there is one other thing I want to share, but I'm going to go ahead and say it. Go ahead, and if you're enjoying this, I know we are missing a JT today. He is fine. He just kind of had to deal with something at the last second, so he could not make it on this morning. But if you're still enjoying the information, go ahead and don't forget to give me a thumbs up. I was just going to put the thumbs up emoji in there, but I can't find the emoji. Don't forget to like this video. It is the little thumbs up icon. Oh, here it is. I found it. Go ahead and give the video the thumbs up if this is good information. And the reality is so much of this, you all know this, right? You all know this. And I was listening to a podcast this morning because I really started pretty much every morning. I don't like to read. I've never been the person that loves to read. Now I do read I read books, mostly the chapters in the books I'm interested in, or I start a book until I get another book. I don't finish a lot of books. So I'm not a reader, but I listen to a lot of podcasts. There's a lot of different people I like to follow their podcasts and listen to. And I was listening to a podcast this morning, and they said something on the podcast and it made a lot of sense. And JT talks about this all the time. And I said something along this lines on my Instagram story this morning, where it basically said, like, if you want more, you work harder. And I think, there's a lot of talk out there about like work-life balance, spending time here, spending time there, and all these different views and arguments and things. And I just think it's a really good point, though, of if you want something to, right? If you want your business to grow, we've got to work harder on it. If you want to lose weight, we have to work harder at it. If we want to learn a language, you've got to work harder at that. If you want to change something, you want to learn something, you want to build something, you want to grow, right? If you want more, I think actually, let me read exactly what the quote that I put up today. Hold please. I'm going to refer to my Instagram because at the moment that I said it, it was great. If you want something more than what you have, you need to work harder. Okay. And, I think it's relevant because today is the topic of business growth. So if you want more out of your business than what you have to work harder at it. And you have to know too, one thing I give JT so much credit for, and I always have, is he is very, when it comes to work ethic, he leads by example, right? Nobody works harder than him. You also need to understand in your business, no one's going to work harder than you. So if you want more and you want more out of your team and you want more out of your people, you need to put in more. Because I will tell you, there is a huge unbalance if you're saying, I want you to do more, I want you to work harder, I want you to put in more, and then you're playing golf, you're at the lake house riding it on your jet ski, if you're out on the boat, if you're gone on vacation for 3 months, and you're asking people to put in more and you're putting in less, people aren't going to respect that and people aren't going to want to put in more for you. So I think you really have to think about, like, if you want more than what you have to be willing to work harder for it. And you have to be willing to lead by example. So your team is all going to work harder and push forward for it also. So I think that there is that balance, and especially right now, because on your team as a whole, there has to be trust, right? We're not working in offices. Everyone's working remote. You're doing meetings by Zoom. You're communicating via email, via text message. And if you don't have that trust in your belief in your team and their work ethic and their capability, your house of cards is going to collapse. It's going to collapse because you don't really have that trust and that faith in your team. So I think that's something really important in wanting to grow the business, is knowing that we do have to work harder. And, a lot of you are commenting, work harder and smarter. And yes, I agree. It's, where can I go get some information on how I should do this, so I'm not just trial and error and making mistakes this whole time, and knowing, okay, I'm going to work harder, and where am I going to put my energy in, and how am I going to be strategic, and what am I going to focus on first? And that's where I think really having a strategy and this is one area where I listened to a podcast the other day that was also really, really good. And JT sent this one to me, and I was like pulling out parts from it, and it gave me a few different strategies and things I thought about. And then JT was like, I think I'm going to have to go back and listen because I didn't pull all those things from it. But I pulled a lot from this podcast I was listening to, and it was talking about too, if you want your business to grow, you've got to focus on the business. And I say this because if you're watching this, you're probably an entrepreneur, you're probably a business owner. And I know we fall victim to, worse than anyone else, we've got too many irons in the fire. And the person was talking about, they're basically an angel investor and what they look at. And he was saying, if you asked Elon Musk 5 years ago, what are you working on? He would have said, I'm working on Tesla and I'm working on SpaceX. Right? I spend this many days a week at Tesla, and then I fly here, and then I'm working this many days a week on SpaceX. You asked him today, what is he working on? He'd say Tesla and SpaceX. I spend this many days in SpaceX, and then I spend this many days in Tesla. And he eats, breathes, and sleeps. We've all heard the stories of Elon Musk sleeping on the factory floor, and every time Tesla is like, the company might go under, and then he figures it out, and the new model comes out, they solve the problem. I mean, not for nothing, whether you like Elon Musk or not, you got to give the man credit. It is the first private company that has launched human beings into space successfully. And everyone in the world would have said, and most said, not possible. And he made the impossible possible. My point being, he focuses on two things, Tesla and SpaceX. So I do need you, right? And I said this to JT, and I said, we've got to really kind of pull the reins in and focus on, what are you focused on? Is it your business, or is it your business, your charity, being on the board of something, running this sports association, trying to do real estate on the side, also what are you focused on? And is it so finite that you are focused on two things? And that is your primary focus, and you're focused on those two things to make them as best as they possibly can. And so that's the other key I'm really going to give everyone in, we want to grow our businesses, is asking you, how focused are you on business? And if you have not yet, if you have Millionaire Flicks, millionaireflix.com, listen to the Focus program. The Focus program is so good. Listen to the Focus program. We all struggle with focus. I every day am trying to improve and work on being focused. Every single day, I've been writing in my journal. I write how today is going to be a great day, and what am I going to do to make it a great day? And focus is always a part of that, and trying to focus more and trying to make sure I sit down, I allocate time for something. And so I'm going to say, as an entrepreneur, because we all know about shiny object syndrome and chasing the next squirrel, is I want everyone to pick the things you are going to focus on. And I want it to be less than three or less things you are going to focus on. And that's it. And that's not, I'm going to focus on that for the next 30 days. Those are the three things you are focusing on until they become wildly successful or they absolutely fail. And I think every single person, not every single person, there was probably more people betting against and have been betting against Elon Musk in both Tesla and SpaceX. And he said, I'm going to prove them all wrong. So pick the things you are going to focus on and focus. Figure out what your customers want. How are you going to get it to your customers? How are you going to be the fastest, the most efficient? How are you going to show up in those spaces? How are you going to deliver what they need? And focus on those things and make them as wildly successful as possible. You don't have to be everything to everyone. You don't have to do everything. You don't have to be a part of everything. You just need to do 1, 2, or 3 things and focus everything you have on those to make them as successful as possible. So that is what I'm going to leave you today. If this was great, if you enjoyed this, leave me the thumbs up, give me the thumbs up on the video, give me the thumbs up. So I know that everyone enjoyed this. This was great content. I promise JT will be back. I did not get rid of him. He will be back. Don't worry. Like I said, he just had kind of something pop up at the last second he needed to address and take care of it. And I said, no problem, I got you. So give me the thumbs up. Leave your comments. Thank you everyone for being on today. We will be back at 3:30 on the 3:30 p.m. Eastern on the JT Foxx fan page on Facebook. 4 p.m. Eastern, JT Foxx Official on Instagram. He'll be live coaching. If you don't have Millionaire Flicks, millionaireflix.com. I don't know what you're wasting your time and waiting for. If you do have Millionaire Flicks, go listen to the Focus program, re-listen to the Focus program. I'm telling you, focus, 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 focus. Also this weekend, if you want to know more about buying and selling businesses, buyingandsellingbusiness.com. Thanks everyone, and I will see everyone later today.